really happy to be back again after 6 years. So I had a talk 2019. That was the last time when I visited New York. So I'm really glad to give this presentation about the new commerce game and why this topic and why now. Because choosing a commerce solution or platform has never been more complex than these days. And I will not talk a lot about AI. A lot of other people do it today, I guess. So I talk about the influence, or I mean the influence strategic-wise AI has around choosing an e-commerce solution. So first of all, I want to give you a couple of insights of me. As I was mentioned, I'm from Munich. So I flew all over the way from Germany on Sunday. Visited a customer yesterday in Cincinnati. And yeah, I'm CEO at Tech Division. I'm also co-founder. I'm doing Magento since 2007. So we heard that in the morning. I was very beginning the first alpha or beta version in August 2007. And yeah, since then, Magento, we are a long-standing Adobe Goat partner as well, doing meanwhile not only Adobe Commerce and Magento, but also Adobe Experience Manager. And we are, since a couple of years, also a Shopify partner. And this gives us, yeah, Ben, you not have to say anything about it. So, but this gives us a unique and I would say real-world perspective of the strengths and also the challenges we have with different commerce platforms. And so, as I said, I mean the rules have changed in the past quite tremendously. In the past, we need just like a simple shopping cart doing e-commerce business, and nowadays we have three areas, and so let's go from this nice to have to the table stakes. So demands data and flexibility with AI and personalization entirely changed, and also we see rising costs. So costs from customer acquisitions, but also operational costs. And that demands efficiency in the platform we choose. And finally, it's about the saturation we see in the market. So saturation means good enough is not good enough. So differentiation is key, also for winning new customers. And this brings us to the new challenge. So in the past, as I said, we had this just idea to having this shopping cart, but this brings us to the new challenge, pressuring, and this pressures creates a new strategic tension for all of us. So we have now a balance we have to balance three completing priorities. So one is speed, getting into the market maximum fast. The other one is freedom. So what does that mean? That means, do we have the flexibility to innovate and build really unique customer experiences? And finally, sustainability. So can we manage our total cost of ownership in a way that is sustainable for the long term? And that means balancing this three topics: speed, freedom, and sustainability is the new commerce game, so as we see it. So let's get into the game plan for the next, let's say, 20 minutes. So here's the plan. First of all, strategic comparison from Magento Open Source versus Adobe Commerce, also the new product, versus Shopify. Then let's talk about the economics, so total cost of ownership and innovation and speed. And then talking about the front-end revolution and why is that important, especially when we're talking around agentic commerce. So it's coming more and more into the world where customer experience counts even more. And so we're looking into that hyvä versus edge delivery services, because we are at the Magento conference. So I'm not looking at Shopify from a front-end perspective. And finally, your actionable playbook for B2C and B2B. So how you can make decisions around the right commerce product. So yeah. Let's look into the platforms, meet the players. So these aren't just tools. there are also entirely different strategies. So Magento Open Source, considering the open world sandbox, you have total control. So if you dream about something, you can build it, but you have to build it by yourself. Adobe Commerce, the enterprise campaign, so a lot of power comes with PaaS, with SaaS solutions. You can own the experience, and it's great if you're already in the Adobe ecosystem. And then finally, it's not the new kid on the block, but Shopify has a tremendous growth story over the last couple of years. The speed run, why the speed run? It's super fast to launch. It's really easy to launch the platform. It's based on an app-driven ecosystem, and it's SaaS and it's simple. So I want to jump over to the core trade-off from control versus convenience, because I think this is the single most important strategic visual this presentation offers, because the game is a constant trade-off between control and convenience. So we have here on the y-axis total control and customizations from low to high. On the x-axis we have convenience and speed to market from low to high. So what does that mean? If we look into, and I differentiate it a little bit, so the Shopify basic solutions and also Shopify Plus. As you can see, it is super fast when it comes speed to market and is quite convenient in comparison. On the other end, Magento gives you the full control, but also brings a lot of complexity with it. And between that, there is somehow Adobe bridging the gap with their platform as a service, and also with the new Adobe Commerce as a cloud service product. So the key question for business is now, which quadrant do I need to be in to win? So where is my strategy, and what do I want to achieve in the next couple of years? So this is the question you should ask when you want to choose, or when you choose a platform. Let's look into the economic part, the TCO, the total cost of ownership. And the TCO is the most misunderstood metric, I would say. It's an iceberg. I mean, icebergs everywhere are icebergs. But I think that's very, very important. Even the Titanic hit one. So, yes. So with Shopify, first of all, you see here on the surface the linear subscription and app fees, so it's really calculable. And but there are a lot of other things you don't see at the first moment. So transaction fees when it comes to payment if you don't use ShopPay in Shopify. Also customization limits, we come to that later in a bit, and also operational workarounds if you come to this customization limits. On the other end, with Adobe, obviously high license fees, GMV based. And what you don't see in the beginning is implementation partner, the cost of an implementation partner, as well as customization and integration. And if you look then to Magento, 0 license, but that's not the cost of the platform. So you have, your hosting team, your dev team, your security, maintenance, and updates, what you have to calculate in. So, I think the core strategic question is now for what, also from a strategic, long-term strategic perspective, which platform fits best, and we try to answer that with a kind of a questionnaire in the end. So TCO is only half of the medal. So there is another thing, which is speed of innovation, I would say. And speed of innovation is also very, very important, because what does that mean? How can you get very fast into the market? And as you see, we have again y-axis feature velocity and x-axis time over the, let's say, 1, 2 or 3 years, how long you can plan. And with Shopify, you have the possibility, with a really feature-rich system, getting very fast into the market. And with Magento, it's a much lower, obviously, with Adobe, and I compare only the SaaS product is a little bit higher because it's feature richer than Magento in the beginning. So what you see here is with Magento, we have, I call it the open source ramp. It steadily grows up, and as I said, if you can dream it, you can build it. So it's limitless what you can do. So it offers you the most flexibility. On the other hand, you have Shopify. It steadily grows also to some point where the platform limits your vision. So when you reach that point, then it gets really difficult, and you should overlook that very upfrontly, because otherwise then you will really stuck. And that's what we're calling the SaaS ceiling. So that is really when you reach the roof and there is nothing, I mean, you cannot do anything about it. So the only thing is find ugly workarounds. So that's basically it. And yeah, in the middle it's Adobe with, you know, the enterprise campaign, the enterprise parts. Gives you a lot of possibility also, and we heard that in the morning in the keynote with the app builder, and this is also unique in comparison to Shopify, because in Shopify you can extend the system through apps, but you have to take care that there are apps, that these apps get hosted. And Adobe is bringing a cloud-based solution exactly for that, so that you can host your apps within the Adobe cloud, and it's included also in the license fee. So you have also a very good control over the costs from a hosting and app perspective. All right, so let's talk about the front-end revolution, because, and I have with Damien, I had a really interesting conversation today, because, I mean, back-ends, I mean, be serious, within the next couple of years, I will not say they vanish, but they're getting less important. Because with agentic commerce, with all that, you know, agent-to-agent conversations that are arising, agent does not care what kind of back-end solution he has to address. So it's getting more and more in commerce, more and more important how the front-end theme is and how the front-end experience for the real human, I mean for the real customer, not for an agentic customer, but for the real customer. And the front-end is where performance, brand, and experience and developer happiness converge. And that's really important, because this is where the developer experience dictates your customer experience. And I believe if you use tools making a developer happy, he will innovate faster, and in the end he delivers a better customer experience, and I would say that's period. So looking into that, and as I said, we are at Magento event, so I'm trying to compare hyvä, they are around, and also edge delivery services from Adobe. I don't know if you heard about the new front-end technology Adobe Commerce is bringing within. So what does these products stand for? So from a feature architecture and core tech perspective, hyvä is a complete front-end theme for both Magento and Adobe Commerce. So it's a replacement of the deprecated Luma theme with reduced complexity and also an improved performance. On the other hand, you have edge delivery services, which is a composable storefront architecture with micro front ends called commerce drop-in components, and another area which is document-based authoring, so you have also kind of an integrated content management within that. Architecture-wise, it's hyvä is a monolithic Magento front-end solution using PHP templates still. Retains the Magento back-end, but making a lot of things much easier from a development perspective. Edge delivery, headless composable architecture with edge computing, so CDN-based content delivery at the network edge. And from a core tech perspective, hyvä using Tailwind and Alpine.js, still PHP templates. And the good thing on hyvä, really what I've heard from my developers, they eliminate require.js and knockout and the UI components. And for edge delivery, as I said, it's an edge-based front-end solution, also with a possibility of document-based authoring. That's crazy shit, and I cannot spend time to dive into that, but if you're interested in that, I can show you that. And it comes with these commerce drop-ins for additional components. All right, so from a performance perspective, I would say both of these technologies are lightning fast. So I don't want to read that. You can read that by yourself. But both gives customers, and not only customers, but also giving you great core web vitals. So that's for sure. From a dev experience, and this is what we both see, 30 to 50% time savings in hyvä, and pretty similar with edge delivery services as it is vanilla JS. So it's really slick from a development perspective. And who is it best for? I mean, hyvä, best for Magento open source customers or Adobe customers running on platform as a service. So on the old Adobe Commerce cloud solution, because you're not eligible with some extent to use edge delivery services. So only specific merchants on Adobe Commerce Plus are allowed to use EDS. Yeah. EDS, great for customers already having Adobe products, especially Adobe Experience Manager in place, because then the license comes in addition or directly included in AEM, and also in Adobe in the SaaS product. So the Adobe Commerce as a cloud service, the new SaaS product from Adobe, EDS is the standard front-end technology which comes within the product. All right, so as we are talking here at Magento a lot about open source and the Magento, the open source way, and I want to give hyvä a double click for this audience, because it's what I believe is or made Magento so great, because it came out from the open source ecosystem, so it's not just a new front-end technology, it's really kind of a movement. So what I've heard, there are more than 5,000 installations out there in the market from hyvä, so I think that's really great and tremendously growing still. It gives a great performance, a good TCO, much better TCO than the standard front-end on Magento, and they have already a super vibrant community. I don't know how it is in the US, but in Europe there is a really good community already. And I mean, it gives Magento a really world-class performance story outside the vendor roadmap from Adobe. So I think that's really, I mean, that's worth an applause. So the playbook, choosing your platform. What is the outcome I wanna give you here? Is kind of a cheat sheet for a B2C and B2B. So yeah, let's start with Magento. Choose Magento when you need maximum customization and really full control over every aspect of your platform. And you want really long-term ownership without any recurring license fees. Really important, you have, and this is what I strongly believe in, you have technical expertise. You really have a technical expertise, whether in-house or with a great partner. This is key. You want to build complex B2B workflows or unique business models, which are hard to implement in a closed environment, then I would say Magento is a good way to go. And of course, I mean, you value community-driven innovation and that kind of open extensibility. All right, coming over to Adobe Commerce, and yeah, I mean, I said it a couple of times already. Your company or your business runs already on an enterprise scale with complex kind of multi-brand, multi-currency, multi-language, multi-country, whatever requirements. You have maybe already invested in, it's not a must, but it's making much more sense if you already invested in Adobe Experience, in the Adobe Experience Cloud ecosystem, because it's then you have an integrated solution, especially when you think about of content and commerce, so combining, content-driven e-commerce, then it definitely makes sense together with Adobe Experience Manager and also with the AEP or with the AEP plus apps, so real-time CDP, Adobe Journey Optimizer, and so on. You need, from whatever perspective, guaranteed SLAs. You need maybe some compliance. So HIPAA readiness, for example, is one buzzword. You want managed infrastructure, so enterprise ready or enterprise scaling infrastructure with auto-scaling and security. And you require advanced B2B capabilities. With the included B2B module from Adobe Commerce, there are a lot of out-of-box capabilities around B2B scenarios. All right, let's come to Shopify in the end. You need the fastest time to market, and that's basically it is. I mean, we are doing Shopify since quite a while, and it's amazing how fast you can go to, how fast your time to market can be. You want to all-in-one simplicity with hosting, with payments, with apps, but be careful, apps have to be hosted by the app vendor or by yourself. And your business model fits so classically e-commerce business model like B2C. Even Shopify is really going fast into the B2B track as well, but there are limitations. I mean, I believe that Shopify, or I know that Shopify is working on that, but for classical B2C use case, it's a great fit. Also, when you prefer predictable costs with transparent subscription pricing, then Shopify, you know exactly what you pay, even if you double your revenue next year. So you can really predict that. On the other end, at some point of time, and that's what I said, it's a tipping point, it's getting really expensive in comparison to other platforms. I can give you some TCO comparisons from a license fee perspective, but as it is a linear pricing model, then it's good to calculate, but on the other end, there are pricing models which are, if you're scaling your revenue, which are much merchant friendly, I would say. And really important, and that's what we all see at customers, if you have limited technical resources, this is the platform you should go, because that's really easy to handle and to deal with. You have with the platform possibilities to manage the platform without any technical resources. So the game here isn't about one winner, it's about, and that's what I want to hand over to you, strategic choice. It's about finding the platform that lets you, let me say, execute your strategy in the most efficient way. Especially in an era where SaaS platforms are becoming walled gardens. Open systems like Magento can give you some really priceless benefit. The freedom to choose, the freedom to own your data, your stack, and your destiny. Especially in Europe, we see actually there is it's going more and more into the direction around being more resilient from other, or from other regions, also from big tech vendors. And I think every solution has their benefits, and it has to really fit into your strategy. And this is what you should do: play the game on your own terms, choose your game, and play it then with the terms you figured out for your within your strategy. Thank you.